Triple KO!
Welcome back to Triple KO, where we are always on top of the latest stories. And not at all, they happen right after we finish recording every single episode.
The latest stories.
The latest stories. I am Matt McMuscles. To my left and to my right, possibly perhaps, is the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Wong. And then there's Maximilian, I guess. So this week we got a couple of interesting things that kind of happen in the world of button bashing. And I want to get to this topic immediately, very fast right now.
What's the good one?
Because the good one, Maximilian, is right after we finished recording our last broadcast. A new character was announced for Tekken 8.
Is it like a Marduk?
It was 3D Karen Kenzuki.
Oh, so Yoshimitsu. Yeah, we get to talk about Yoshimitsu.
Kunimitsu. Also,
crazy
right?
that they brought back his Tekken 3 costume. That's crazy.
Harada's going to come for you. He loves Lily, and so do lots of other people. So yeah, Lily, not a surprise. Like, none of the characters lately have been a big surprise that all the ones that we've seen so far. But yeah, she's there. She looks like Lily. She did get a new costume though from that was really cool though. You have to admit that Harada reached out to a fan artist.
Yeah.
He just really admires on Twitter to redesign her costume.
Yeah.
She looks like Lily.
She looks the same.
And then
it's a nice costume.
Totally roasted somebody that put in AI art of Lily. Somehow created like an AI Mid-Journey or something of Lily with the new costume, and Harada totally spotted it, and he's like, "What is this bullshit?" I hired a real artist to do this.
He said something like unimpressive AI art or something, or common. But then that person tried again.
Yep.
They then posted a picture of Asuka and said, "How about this one?" And then he didn't even reply to it at that point, which I thought was funny. But
you got your chance.
She's got a cat now named Salt. That seems to be the thing now, eh? Give Tekken characters animal friends. Everyone. JP has a cat now too that we haven't seen yet.
Oh, really? I didn't even know JP. I just thought blondes. They just give blondes cats for some reason.
Cammy for sure, but JP has apparently a pet cat. Forget its name. And then someone was talking to one of the Street Fighter 6 directors, and they're like, "When can we see JP's cat?" And he's like, "Soon."
I mean, how many other characters have we seen like utilize animals in weapons? Like Sagat got a whole ass tiger in his intro.
So did
Kazumi uses a whole ass tiger in some of her attacks, Yep.
Leroy use the dog
has
somewhere?
his like bulldog pit bull thing. Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna bring Nakuru's
bird.
She's bring Galford in. Why not?
Bring all the different type of animals.
Did we just invent a new fighting game?
Puppy Fighter 2001.
Everyone has an animal stand.
It's like that
not
movie.
Bloody Roar.
That's not a bad gimmick, right?
Yeah,
Where it isn't that like they fight by themselves and they turn into animals. No, the gimmick is that they have an animal that fights with them and helps them out.
Yep.
Assists.
Yeah.
It's animal assist.
Animal assist was pretty good. That's a good one.
That's even a better idea, where it's like the hero character, but then you choose from like 7 assist animals or 8 assist animals. That's kind of dope. Yeah, that is kind of dope.
How did we do this?
It reminds me of that movie. You seen that movie, like that Superman, like a pet movie?
Pets?
Oh yeah, they turn into like super pets. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like that. Make a fighting game of it. I think that would be pretty good.
That's a fun gimmick. That really is a fun gimmick. You have to have a cool like core roster, right? Like of weird, edgy, and not edgy characters and stuff. But then just have like dog, cat, bear.
What would Ryu's pet be? Turtle?
No, that'd be Oros.
That's Oros.
Oro.
Ryu's pet would be a
cow.
A cow?
Cow.
Because he's super common.
A cow because he's white, and then give him a red bell.
Yeah. Ken would have a dog for sure.
Yeah.
Ken would have like
a golden retriever.
Golden retriever. Yeah, very basic. Chun-Li would have like a crane.
Yeah, crane makes sense.
Damn. Some dev hit us up. Yeah. We'll co-fund it,
We have a million ideas.
Can Blanca
a million ideas.
Can Blanca be like
himself?
The monster from Dinosaurs and Cadillacs. That one dude.
No, Blanca would be the snake in his stage.
Oh, the snake in the stage. Yeah.
Yeah, but your suggestion's good too. One more. Bad guy, Bison.
I don't know about Bison.
A bison. How about a bison?
No,
I think of bad guys, and I think of like a Black Panther. Yeah, because of Rugal and shit.
You know, Bison will be some bull crap like Shao Kahn's animality from part 2, just like a dragon. Random.
He'll be that weird fucking bug dude from Bloody Roar. There's like some
Stun?
Was it Stun? It was like the guy that looked like Sephiroth, but he turned into some
Zion.
Yes. Bison had some crazy Neo dragon bug.
No, that's very correct. But it's actually been a little quiet on the Tekken. We haven't gotten a trailer in the last 30 seconds for a new character, so I'm waiting, right?
We're waiting. I think we're all waiting at this point, right? We're sitting here at the beginning-ish of May. We got some announcements that are pretty exciting for later in May, but almost every single person and their mother's nephew's former roommate are expecting a big announcement for games like Mortal Kombat and a potential show for the Sony PlayStation State of Play / PlayStation Showcase, whatever they choose to do. And, because there's a lot of things that are lining up with this time frame that would make a lot of sense. And they usually do one around this time frame.
Because usually a lot of this stuff happens in the first 2 weeks of June, but now companies are like, we need to get ahead of that a little bit. Yeah. So they kind of start putting stuff in the last 2 weeks of May to try not to get lost.
That is exactly what Sony has done, because they don't want to collide too much with Summer Games Fest and releases of other games like Diablo and Street Fighter and all this shit. Yep. So, nice enough. We just got a pretty cool announcement, but we're still sitting on the fact that we've seen Mortal Kombat 12. We've seen the one playable character that's in it, when I've made this joke a billion times, which is a Kidney Stone. And that character doesn't look super interesting. He does one thing, he explodes, and that's it. So Mortal Kombat 12 not looking great right now until they show us an actual trailer.
Did you not see the hint that Mortal Kombat did? They updated Mortal Kombat 11 to have Hogwarts of Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, Voldemort.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Voldemort is going to be the character, the guest character. There we go. We're in magic time now.
They did that going all the way back to, even if you fire up MKX on PS4, there's ads for Mortal Kombat 11 in it.
Let's go.
But going outside of that, where it's like, buy Lego Star Wars or some other WB game or some shit. That's weird, man. That I feel like there's a reason why people are pissed off about that, because that is not a Mortal Kombat. It's not a fighting game. It's just another WB property. Buy our thing.
Yeah, I'll give them Injustice if you advertise that makes sense, right? But all of a sudden Shao Kahn doing a taunt and he's just like, the Hobbit Lego coming to, I don't know about that.
Shao Kahn walks into the ring. You should buy the Smeagol game. It looks great. Liu Kang is like, there's a Smeagol game? Yes, you should pre-order it. Round 1, fight.
That Gollum game, I saw an announcement saying it's 20 hours long, and the first reply on Twitter is someone saying, why is it 20 hours long? That thing's been delayed. The thing's been delayed for 2 years straight. It's about to come out, delayed. It's about to come out, delayed. And that's been going on for 2 years. I think they switched developers 6 or 7 times.
Always a good sign.
It's a great sign. Yeah. For someone that makes a video series about games with crazy development cycles, I can't wait to tackle Gollum. So next we have another character got added, Malika. Brand new character was added to Pocket Bravery, which I was actually, I was playing some of that a few weeks before the character was announced, and I was like, man, this is good. Still waiting for that console release, but the new character looks pretty sick, and they added Show from Breakers not too long ago, and then that other grappler character. So I'm really impressed that they're keeping up a steady stream of content. They've had more content than multiverses,
and this is still this is still a demo. It's a beta available on Steam. You can download it.
I don't think it's officially out, and it's not on consoles yet, right?
No. Yeah, it got a console announcement that it's coming, and a publisher and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still adding content to the early access version. It's exactly like Hades was done. Like I was playing Hades when characters didn't have their art yet, and they were just all hooded characters. They all had shared the same art. So when you'd see Nyx or other characters, so they kind of just like, oh, they put in a new weapon. How does everyone feel about the new weapon? Okay, let's make adjustments. And then when all that's done, and this is how early access should work. And I know some people get burnt on that. Like, the devs aren't ones that add in a lot of content, and then you're kind of just stuck with a game that's kind of half finished. Mm-hmm. But for those, when the process works just like it should, it's really exciting. By the time the game actually gets finished and goes out, it's like a polished, balanced product, especially in terms of a fighting game. So like happy that Pocket Bravery seems to be going down that route of like no real issues or anything.
They do amazing stuff. Like just watching this trailer right now, it's like she has so much combo. She has a Genaijin and kind of like custom combos and do stuff like that. But let me ask you guys something. What do you guys think about when these like indie devs like showcase these characters and they showcase like 100-hit combos? Like, how do you feel? Like, does that like who are you reaching to these 100-hit combos?
And that's kind of like the challenge, right? Where usually a lot of these indie fighting games, like, are they actually appealing to a casual audience? I don't know.
It's tough.
That's really hard to do, like with a casual game. Like we're going to talk about one I think a bit later, which is like this Idol game that just came out, right? Which is obviously does have a bunch of fighting game combo-y stuff in it, but clearly is trying to grab an audience that is coming from these characters and stuff, which might actually have an audience. In a situation like Pocket Bravery, it's mostly coming from like original characters. So at that point, you're just like, okay, so the people that are interested in this is probably people that are interested in fighting games, that like Pocket Fighter, that enjoy these things that are classic fighting games. You're already like, in the club of fighting game fans. So we want to show you sauce. That's the only way I can kind of agree with it, where they know the audience that is going to buy this stuff is probably people like us.
Yeah, you have to strike that balance between those early KOF 15 trailers where it's like, here's 3 seconds of a combo versus trailers that are like, here's 18 different combos. Like some Pocket Bravery and other indie fighting games go a little too hard to like Max said, show you the sauce, where it's like, yeah, you can dial it back like 25%. We don't need to see every single combo path. Yeah. But you do want to err on the side of look at all the shit that you can do, but like, don't go crazy on the trailer. But, it's at the end of the day, it's just the trailer. So it's not like the worst thing in the world, but, I'm kind of two minds about it in terms of answering your question, Justin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to support it. It's just like,
sure.
And it's just hard. 'Cause I'm like, man, these combos look cool. It's something that we're all interested in. But, I just want the game to be successful. I want like more of these indie games to get love, but maybe it's just like showing off combos. I'm not sure if that's like the right way to go about it, I would say.
Yeah, especially for like 2-3 minutes solid.
Yeah, literally it's
just a lot.
It's like 30-second combos. I'm like, man. people are like, oh, when does it stop? What am I looking at? Let me just see some cool supers for the most part.
Yeah, and their supers are cool. We've talked about before their level 3s.
Cinematic,
those cool like cinematic things, and like that's great. Show that stuff.
Yes.
And like Capcom has kind of nailed it recently with like anytime they show a new character, it's exactly the right length it should be. Here's the new stuff. Here's like a bread and butter. Here's a one like 2 supers. Sometimes they don't show all 3 that a character has, so you have something to. I wonder what Cammy's like level 2 looks like, or whatever it is. And that strikes a really good balance, but like, yeah, too many combos is kind of like, all right, cool. I'll find these by myself later. You don't need to show me every single one. Speaking of, kind of manifesting things to sort of happen, after I played way too much Double Dragon than no person should ever play, and I had said, man, it'd be cool if there was a new Double Dragon. They announced a new Double Dragon. Arxis delivered. Arxis heard me.
Yeah, so I thought it was Axis, but I always get this confused. Is it technically Arxis publishing it?
So
Arxis Games, right?
So Arxis owns the rights to Double Dragon and Kunio, River City, right? And they license it out. They can either make stuff themselves or they license it out to any publishers or studios that want to put out a game. So like they licensed out River City to Way Forward. and Way Forward published and developed the River City Girls games.
Right.
And here, Modus Games, who's put out quite a few things, they put out Them's Fighting Herds.
Okay.
And they contacted Arxis, said, we want to make a new Double Dragon game. So they have this new game, Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons. They put that to Secret Base. Secret Base made a great indie beat 'em up called Streets of Red or Devil's Dare. I think Streets of Red was like the Super Turbo version, but that was a great little beat 'em up that's been around for a while, like 5-6 years. And it has the same art style as this. And like, yeah, this is coming out this summer to absolutely everything. And you're watching it and you're like, okay, this looks cool.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, are they doing tag combos? And that's exactly what it is. You take your main character and then you get an assist character. And while you're comboing, you can just tag that character in. And there's 4. There's, of course, Billy and Jimmy, Marion, and a new character, Uncle Matin. I believe Matin because the storefront at the first level of Double Dragon always says Matin.
So I guess that's a reference to earlier.
It's
Double
a little
Dragons.
nod.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
what's up, everybody? Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped, and summer is coming. I already know we have all these new games coming, but we gotta take some time to go to the beach. But guess what we need to handle first? We got to handle these chest hairs. I don't have chest hairs, but guess what? I got nipple hairs, though, and I'm going to be shaving them with that Performance Package 4.0. But Max, I know you guys have chest hair. You got that Rufus hair going on, right, guys?
A little bit.
Yeah, so it's not the greatest, accommodation of all time, but go on, Justin.
It's time to get ready for Hot Guys Summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code TKO, right? And if you don't have chest hair, don't worry. We got you all these packages, right? I also have lots of nose hairs that needs to be trimming.
I've noticed.
Yeah, you notice it too. It's really easy to see. But guess what? They got the Weed Whacker 2.0. You know what I mean? Go that trim. Here we go. If you're Ryu and you see them sandals in Street Fighter 6, guess what? You can wear these sandals too, but you got to watch out for them feet. So you need to get that Manscaped Shears 2.0 nail kit. Having the right tools of grooming is essential. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. All right. So besides that, you get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TKO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TKO at manscaped.com. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy at the beach with Austin Powers chest hair. Trim your chesticles with the besticles. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and this has, it does the thing that kind of, I know some people don't like it, but I think if it's done well, having roguelike elements, kind of more or less like how Hades and other roguelites do it.
Streets of Rage.
Like, exactly. Streets of Rage 4 survival mode. Okay, you cleared this encounter. Here's 3 buffs. Which one do you want? Like, I think that is great for beat 'em ups. I understand people's apprehension about it sometimes. Like, no, I just want my pure beat 'em up. I totally get that. But I also think this is the type of thing that can really give a lot of replayability to a beat 'em up, right?
Yeah, and it's just like after playing it in the very limited time that I did in Streets of Rage 4, it's clear that this is like made for this. Like the replayability, like everything about it is just super smart, and it should be an additional mode, maybe not the main functionality of the game, but it's to have it be there and to go through that with friends and stuff is really fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure. In the press release, it didn't say anything about whether this is something you can opt to not take or do, or have it on during the main mode. What they did say is a cool little thing is that there's 4 different territories and bosses you can take on, and depending on the order you take them on, the game gets harder or easier. Like it's almost like Mega Man X1, where if you do the boss order in this, things change a little bit on each level, and I'm like, that's cool. And all 4 bosses, this is what I thought was neat. Reminds me a little bit of the Street Fighter 5's the mode where the arcade mode with where you went to Alpha, then Street Fighter 2, and then Street Fighter 3. It has all 4 bosses are from different eras of Double Dragon. Mm-hmm. The first boss is the guy that wears yellow and has a machine gun. The second boss is from Super Double Dragon. The third boss is an Egyptian god from Double Dragon 3. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's cool. And they're all themed like gangs.
How many Double Dragon games did you actually play through on the video, Matt?
60.
60.
60?
Yes.
16.
Okay. Sorry, I mean every port.
Okay.
Not that there's 60 standalone sequels.
So it's like how many Street Fighter 2 games are there? Well, there's technically only like 5, but I played 94.
Yeah, essentially.
The Virtual Boy version.
I played like the Game Boy ones and all of that, and so just seeing all of that, like it made it, if I hadn't gone through all of them and watched this trailer, probably wouldn't have appreciated it as much as I did. I was like, oh, it's got this, it's got that, that's cool. So the other thing that I think it said there's no online at launch, but I think it said it'll be DLC. So
I hope so, because you definitely need online for games like this.
For a beat 'em up, it's almost I personally feel for a beat 'em up, it's almost as necessary for like a fighting game, right? Like the requirement to beat 'em ups are just about co-op. Like that's the whole point of the experience for a lot of people is this classic game that has this classic co-op experience the way it used to be. It used to be the ultimate co-op game. So you have to have online, dude.
Like when we were talking to Bannon about beat 'em ups a couple episodes ago, and the first River City Girls didn't have online. They just couldn't get it together. Yeah. But they knew like if we're making a sequel, we absolutely have to do that because that was like the number one thing people were asking for, and they got that all in there. So hopefully it is like a piece of post-launch DLC that's not going to be too far away from launch. But like if it's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, then that's good because it'll get a resurgence of people playing it again, like just checking it out with friends and stuff. So also really nice to see angry D artist David Liu doing the front illustration, the main. It looks so good. Any game I'm ever gonna be able to have the opportunity to produce again, I'm like, David, you have to. I don't care.
We're gonna eventually get him on like a Capcom fighting game or something, you know?
Please,
a collection or something.
You guys go to Capcom every other week, so you should ask.
Yeah, we'll kick down the door next time.
Be like, hey, we'll go into the beat 'em up office instead of the fighting game office for that time, right?
I wish Capcom had that office.
Whatever small side room has a bunch of like executives in it that are talking, we'll just kick the door down and start making requests.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they also have a versus mode for this. It didn't mention in the press release, but I think tag, that'd be so good on a versus mode just to see how the mechanics.
I think if anything, people would just make their own versus mode if they have friendly fire on.
That's true.
Right? They could just do that. But Matt, so it says like unlock a roster of up to 13 fighters. So all the Double Dragons that you've played, obviously Billy and Jimmy are like the staple too. Are there other characters that you can play in the other Double Dragons?
In Double Dragon 3, they added like 8 characters, but there are a bunch of like palette swaps. Like this is weird to explain. It was like each group was 2 brothers. So there's Billy and Jimmy, and then they added a third guy, Sonny, and then there was like 2 there's 2 big guys, and their name was like Willie? Sonny as well.
Willie and
Roni,
Gilly?
Bongo
Billy,
and Dongo.
Gilly, Bimmy, Dongo, Bongo. It was like 8 characters and stuff, but there were a bunch of palette swaps. It was like medium guy, fat guy, wrestler guy, martial arts, like judo guy.
Yeah,
they're
not real though. They're not part of the
lore.
They're
not. Oh yeah, no, not anymore. But in Double Dragon 4, you can unlock all the jobber enemies that you would beat up. So after you finish a level, you unlock this guy. You can unlock a boss. What I think they're going to do here is that the 4 bosses that you see in the trailer, they're just going to become unlockable. And then maybe 2 more job guys and like a Bobo, I guess.
Bobo, I feel like has to be, right?
Yeah, like he's at the very end of the trailer there, and he's just like, wish list Double Dragon now.
Yeah.
Buy Harry Potter.
Do you think they would use like from like characters from the Double Dragon fighting game, possibly, or even from the TV show?
So someone actually posted like a neat picture that shows there's a character in the Double Dragon cartoon show that looks a lot like the new character Uncle Matin.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, that does look like him.
Yes, I think I know which one you're talking about because he's probably one of the guys that they gave powers to,
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did get powers in the show. God, the show's bad. Everyone's like, the show's great. I'm like, I watched the show a month ago. It's not that great.
Listen, as a kid, it was probably amazing, though.
It probably was.
Because you're like, oh my God, somebody else got a new power. We got a new friend on our side to fight the evil.
Yeah, there was this character that could do breakdancing moves. I forget his name, but like that's all he had. He didn't but I'm the only guy that can breakdance fight. And everyone's like, oh God, no one can beat him because it's so distracting.
Damn, he got the hip hop keto?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like 13 characters. We'll see that. Maybe they'll do another trailer where they show who all those characters are. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Max, are you looking forward to the N64 classic Dark Rift getting re-released on Steam?
That's crazy.
Yes.
It is crazy.
Yes. I love Dark Rift, and my rifts are dark, and I can't wait.
This is apparently on GOG now, and I just didn't know, and you'd think I would know, but I didn't.
It reminds me of like, somebody was like, MK Trilogy is available on PC. I'm like, what? And like, yeah, you can just go buy it. So I did the same thing. I went to GOG, and it was on there, and I'm like, huh, and I can't get it to run.
I couldn't get it to run.
Exactly. Like I'll have to look up some guides, and I'd actually love to play MK Trilogy on Parsec or something like that with folks, but this is sort of a similar situation where it's like an old ass like PC port, or is it an old PC port, or is it new?
I think it's new. Like,
okay.
I don't think the original Dark Rift did not get a PC version. So this is like someone doing some stuff.
There's a chance it'll work because
I'd like to think so.
The MK Trilogy port, yeah, I think we all bought it for like $5 or something, and it's like dope. And then you click the EXE and nothing happens. And you try to run into compatibility mode, nothing happens. And I'm like, So it really is like this ancient ass PC port that just, funny enough, doesn't function. Matt, what is so special about my Dark Rift?
So Dark Rift is the sequel to Criticom. Fortunately, it is much better than Criticom. Legit.
This is going well so far. Keep going.
Yeah,
it is going well. It is one of the few N64 games that have a really good frame rate.
Okay.
I think it was approaching 60 maybe on the N64, and I think that is with all the accolades.
Does it knock on the door and then take a step into the door, or does it just see the door from a distance?
It takes a step, I feel.
Oh, okay. All right.
It takes a step. There's a cool space marine called Aaron Maverick. That's cool. I like him.
Does it have the striking visuals of Criticom?
They are better than They're better. Okay. Justin, since Max is making fun of me, what do you think of Dark Rift?
I'm Googling it.
I'll support it. I'm assuming it's like it'll be like $4.99. I hope. But yeah, I feel it's single player. You could share split screen PvP. Partial controller support.
This is definitely a Matt McMuscles game now that I'm looking at it.
And remote play together. So there's no online. I'm pretty sure it's just they just took the code and they're like, hey, we're gonna put it on Steam and maybe some magic can happen.
Maybe Matt will buy it.
But I would say before I was a content creator and I was really specific in the fighting games I liked as a youngin', I would look at other N64 fighting games that were not Killer Instinct Gold, and I would most likely get Dark Rift. Oh God, what are the
Mace
other ones?
The Dark Age.
Mace the Dark Age and Biofreaks mixed up. Yeah. Then they're maybe all the same thing.
They're not. There's subtle differences.
They're not, but there is definitely some similarities between all three.
There is. I mean, like, I legit, it's like, I played it not too long ago on like an N64 emulator. I was like, holy crap, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, again, it's a relatively simple thing, but it plays a little bit like, a jankier Tekken, with some fireballs and projectile stuff, but like, it's like an endless, stage like old Tekkens were. So I'm just surprised that like someone got the rights to this. Like Vic Tokai was the publisher. Like it's weird.
It almost is like randomly hearing a few years back, and I don't know if anything ever came of it, of somebody got the Clay Fighter franchise rights and they're trying to do shit with it. It's like, what?
Then nothing happened.
And then nothing happened. Yeah.
So the Pico Interactive, that's the ones that the group that's putting this out, they said like, we can release it on Steam, like maybe sometime this month. That's like the dates that Steam are giving us. So we'll see if it'll be out this month, but like it's out on GOG. I haven't bought that version yet, but I think I'll give it a go and I will report back next episode and let you guys, they're all chomping at the bit for more Dark Rift news. Did you guys know that Judge Dredd / Billy Butcher / Aomir from Lord of the Rings might announce soon that he is playing Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat movie.
It's not Chris Pratt who played Mario. I really wanted him to be Johnny Cage, man.
Touché.
He would unironically make a really good Johnny Cage, Chris Pratt. Like, he would never be in a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's too low grade for his pay, I'm sure. Carl Urban, though, as much as I love him, I'm like, I don't actually see him. Like, he's too badass.
He's too mean. Right?
He's too mean.
Where's the? I don't know if you could tell jokes.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of like mean roles between like Dredd and the butcher guy from the show. Right? I haven't seen it.
He's really mean in that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mean guy roles. So
yeah,
I think it might be good to have some variety.
But he was Bones McCoy in the Star Trek reboot movies.
Yeah.
And he was a comic foil in that.
Yeah.
And he had like a North American accent. Because now when I see him, I'm like, he either does a British accent or a New Zealand accent or whatever. Sorry, I actually don't know where he's from. I want to say he's British, but I might be wrong on that.
British.
So British. So yeah, he looks too cool. Like, he looks too, like, I don't know, weathered and like a badass. He was even that cool dude in
like he could be a Kano. I could see him be a Kano more than Johnny.
Yeah, well,
they could bring Kano back.
What they're really trying to do is to get some star power into the film, because Mortal Kombat 2021, whenever the hell it came out, outside of the one really prominent Japanese actor that played Scorpion, was full of a lot of people. Yeah, like I can't really think of anybody else that I really recognized. Cole was obviously like, I don't know who this, even the people playing like mainstay characters like Sonya, I just didn't really recognize a ton of them. They probably have a ton of experience. I'm not discrediting their acting career or anything like that, but it wasn't, crammed to the bone full of like big star power. And this kind of comes across as like, oh, a lot of people paid attention to the renew MK movie. We have to do something to sort of like bounce it into the stratosphere higher than before. I would like to think it would be like adding a good story would be one of those, but instead they're going with the star power thing, so we'll see how it goes. What's up, guys? Today's episode of TKO is sponsored by Honey, an easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. And thanks to Honey, doing things like manually searching for coupon codes across the internet on checkout is a thing of the past. This is a free shopping tool that scours the internet for those promo codes and applies the best ones to your cart. When you check out, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is simply click Apply Coupons. And within seconds, Honey's going to search for those coupons and if there's any applicable to the site that you're currently on. If it does find a working coupon, you'll actively watch the prices drop, and I'm thinking there's a pretty important holiday that we all might be doing some relative shopping for, a Mother's Day of some kind.
Day of Mothers.
The Day of the Mothers is arriving. Honey, come save us.
Day.
Justin or Matt, what are you guys looking for?
Man, I already got the tech for you guys, because we are dads, and that means we have two moms. We have our mom, right? And we also have the wife, right, for the kids' mom. So guess what we got to do here, right? We got to go for Honey to buy some markers, buy some papers, spend some time with your kids to get them to draw 2 Happy Mother's Day cards. And then you guess what? That is you spending time with your kids. That's also getting a free gift to the moms, and you already know they're gonna love that, because who doesn't want a present from their kids? And the most important part, we're saving money out here.
Justin doing piano inputs on family responsibilities right here. For myself, my sister and I decided to get a air fryer for my mom. Her old one broke down, and my sister's like, "Why don't we use that thing you talk about on your podcast?" I'm like, "Honey, that's the one." So we're able to save good amount of little bit of change on that new air fryer that we sent her. Should be there right on time for Mother's Day. So yeah, got to get those savings in there.
And as a reminder, Honey doesn't work just only on desktops. It works on your iPhone too. So just activate it on Safari on your phone and you can save on the go. So if you guys haven't already tried Honey, you can be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and also helping us out here on the podcast at TripleKO. So go to get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/TKO. That's joinhoney.com/TKO.
Well, I did read that like they changed writers for the sequel,
thank Christ.
And they said we're like this is stuff I like to see for projects like this. We are looking at everything that worked in the first movie, and we're gonna emphasize that. Like, this is the big news that's happening today. But I caught this quote in the same article as this Karl Urban playing Johnny Cage thing. And they said, we're gonna like focus on the things that worked and like try to get away from the things that people were not so great, which is really just the general flow of the movie and kind of the story.
It's just
and
a bad movie.
It wasn't a tournament.
Yeah.
I get there's no more plot armor supers, okay, from Cole.
And you don't care about any character. You don't care about any of their efforts or their plight or anything. And I was having this conversation just last night when we were talking about with video games of Karl Urban being Johnny. How it's in the first Mortal Kombat movie, you at least like care a little bit. You know, it builds
Liu Kang,
about Liu Kang, and it builds this relationship with Sonya and and Johnny, and they're working together to get through this stuff. But eventually, they have to lift Liu Kang up because he's the one that essentially has to face off against Shang Tsung in that final battle. And the music kicks in, and you're like, you gotta fucking kill this guy, man! Like, it does a really good job at bringing everything together and having the moments in the film actually have like a sense of disparity. How it's like, oh, they have to survive this shit. And then you get like the absolute soulless sequel, which is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I started with Annihilation. And what did they learn from the first Mortal Kombat movie? Now they have like new directors, new writers, or everything, and nobody wanted to show up again practically outside of some actors. They're like, so what do people like about the first Mortal Kombat movie? And some executive is like, techno music and fighting. So that's all the second movie has and nothing else. Yeah. Like there's no good storytelling. There's no actual direction.
Justin pointed out earlier, it has the dumbass animality that Shao Kahn turns into.
It just has things, right? And not actually good. And it's funny, you go back and you look at the MK1 movie, none of the fights are really that cool outside of like a couple. They're really, but they all mean something. They all like have like these cool moments to them that add like a level of severity to it, which is the same thing I can say about like the newer MK movie. Some of the fights are cool. Some of the stuff Sub-Zero does is cool. I'm trying not to be a dad joke here, but I don't care about anything that's happening. I didn't care about anything. Like aggressively didn't care.
Because they didn't have a focus. They had like this main new guy that everyone's like, I don't know who this character is.
Yeah.
He's kind of the main guy, but here's Liu Kang now. He's pretty important. Oh, Kung Lao's also really cool.
They just showed up out of nowhere.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're cool too. But here, who's the bad guy? Well, it's Shang Tsung, but it's also kind of Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you can hone in on. Who do we want the audience to cheer? Who do we want the audience to boo?
Yeah.
And then just put a tournament in there. And as long as they have the same cool fights, like and I like that out of everyone, Johnny Cage is the one that's actually like a big, well-known actor. Like that makes sense. It was supposed to be the Miz for a while from WWE. He was campaigning Ed Boon. He was hollering at Ed Boon on his Twitter.
Ed Boon wanted to be Johnny Cage, yeah.
Yeah. So
Miz would have been pretty cool though. I would have liked him because he's pretty good in what he does on WWE.
Yeah, he's like really good at being smarmy. So
yeah, it's like a smart ass and everything.
We'll see how this like kind of pans out.
It's funny how this news with like Johnny Cage showing up and being a well-known actor also pairs with Street Fighter news, which we did hear about. There's potentially a new director on board for a Street Fighter live action.
Oh, that's true.
And,
I heard about that.
And it's Raka Raka, who are well-known YouTubers for, crazy Ronald McDonald, Harry Potter versus Star Wars, and also real-life Street Fighter videos. And their shit is incredible. Like their direction of fight scenes, they do really, really great comedy stuff. But apparently they were just at Sundance, because they made them their first feature film. They made a horror movie. And
Talk to Me. I heard it was called.
Great trailer.
I've heard of this movie. Yeah, great trailer. It seemed like really scary.
So
it still seemed like a strange fighting game choice, but you're saying that they actually did Street Fighter stuff, like stuff?
They had done in the same time there was like promotional videos for like Street Fighter Resurrection. Right around Street Fighter 5 coming out. So they did this thing called Real Life Street Fighter. I did this like History of Nash video, and we were like all working for Machinima at the same time. So they did this live action Street Fighter video. It's fucking hilarious. It's so funny. And most of their like live action comedy stuff, which is really well done action, great camera work. I'm like, this is nuts. Like this, their videos have such energy that it blows my mind, and it always blew my mind. But their Street Fighter one's like a special favorite of mine. It's one of my favorite Street Fighter videos ever. But to think that like, okay, so what is their, do they have any range, or do they just do this kind of stuff? And no, they release like a horror movie that apparently is fucking fantastic. It doesn't rely on jump scares, and is getting all of the genre makers like, whoa, check these guys out. Like these like twins from New Zealand or Australia. I don't know exactly where they're from. They're from like down under somewhere, but they're apparently hella good at filmmaking. And it's like, dude, I could totally see these guys killing it and making like the fights fucking awesome and actually adding a good story to Street Fighter. I'd be hella down with that. I'm almost completely in on them taking it.
Yeah, because what I saw about them was that there's this video of all of them, the main principal people behind the movie were getting the call that their movie was getting picked up for major distribution by A24, which puts out a lot of like big name horror movies. Like they're like very indie, but still, do very well. And it was just all of them reacting to the news on the phone.
Yeah.
And them all freaking out like, holy shit, we made this tiny movie and like it's doing really well and everyone's responding to it. So it's just like, what a random weird pick for Street Fighter, but at the same time not.
At the same
it's
time,
like
it seemed like it worked out.
They're fans of Street Fighter, like you're basically saying.
They definitely are.
That's awesome.
They have a huge history of action direction and really funny and great storytelling in action direction. They have an incredible YouTube library of ridiculous stuff, and their Street Fighter video is still on their channel. But as soon as this information came out, I went to go look it up just to like show my chat, like, look how good this Street Fighter video is, and it's gone. It's apparently unlisted now, which is like, oh really? So maybe that's like even alluring to the fact that this could be happening. So it sounds great to me.
They're saying they would do an amazing job telling a good story compared to Ken being a in the crypto.
What is this now? Explain. I saw a headline. So that's all I saw.
They released a manga, like a series of like comic books that I guess Street Fighter 6 would do. And the first chapter was pretty much Ken's a bad father. He's like,
we learned
he put money in crypto.
We learned
he lost it all.
We learned several things from the Street Fighter story of the Street Fighter prequel comic book series, right? And the main things we learned is that Ken is an idiot crypto bro, and Luke is also a idiot himbo.
I didn't need to be told that though.
Yeah. So
I saw that.
Now we know why Ken is broke.
Exactly. To me, it's almost funny because this story would have been written in possibly like the early 2020s, late 2010s, like 2019, 2020, when crypto was everything. Where like
popular,
like this story for Ken would have been written where the lead of business, like the front of Times Magazine and stuff, were these crypto bros and crypto ladies that essentially were found to be like absolute shysters, and now they're all in jail. But what's funny is that they designed that to be Ken, but they had funny enough had the foresight to make it all crash, and it's essentially responsible for Ken's demise in his business shenanigans. So
and this is
weird.
This is an official tie-in. It's not like a fan thing. This is
promoted from like Nakayama. Like
amazing.
It's on Capcom's website.
It is Ken's fault for all his stupid investments and shit. Like
now he's working for Ego Shipping Company to make that money back.
Like Ken's in the tournament and he's like, please buy my crypto, please invest in it, please buy Harry Potter.
I believe he's past that part. Like
now he is.
Yeah, now he is. At least in the game, he's not going to be shelling his SRK currency.
We'll see in the storylines, right? That's like when we meet Ken in World Tour mode, we're gonna see what he talks about. That's gonna be the funny part.
He's like, I need some help, bro. He's working construction now. That's how he's taking care of it, I guess.
Yeah, he's working for Ego.
That's how he's supporting his family.
He toddles the shit out of some girders. That's his new thing.
Yeah.
Right. There's actually one more thing I just wanted to bring up that maybe I'm in love with this. Maybe not for you guys. But there is a manga doing a live action, which is Street Fighter 5 related. It's called Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. And they are releasing a live action TV series of young ladies don't play fighting games, and the game that they're playing as like trying to win is Street Fighter 5. They're trying to win a Street Fighter 5 tournament. This is going to be broadcast all over in Japan on May 19th. So I'm very excited to see it because I don't think it will be good, but it'll be fun to watch.
What a game to advertise now. Yeah, but I guess it's still Street Fighter.
And it's because it's been like in development for a while, and Street Fighter 5 was probably Street Fighter 6 probably didn't even exist yet.
Yeah, exactly. So they're playing Street Fighter 5 and they have like this whole drama going into it, make it like kind of crazy. I don't really recognize the actors and actresses, but it's just something that I think, pretty cool because the manga is amazing. A lot of people talk about this manga all the time on like Twitter and social media, like, oh, this is so cool, it's so interesting. But there's not many references to FGC stuff. Like nothing.
It's not like
player wise or anything.
It's not like High Score Girl. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like High Score Girl. It's really kind of like these girls are in a school academy and they have an esports program, and they're trying to win. They're like regionals, they're tournaments, and they want to become a pro gamer. So that's kind of I
wish it was some weird deep cut. Like all these modern day high schoolers are about to compete each other in the largest high school esports tournament featuring Street Fighter EX2 Plus.
No, I'd say Jackie Chan Fists of Fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're getting hella deep.
Dong dong.
Dong dong never dies.
That'd be a sick one. But yeah, no, I did see a headline about this and I was like, what is this? And it's just one of those things that flittered by and I didn't really get to see the details. So yeah, no, that does sound.
That's a good way of describing shit that you're just like, it twittered by at some point,
It twittered by.
What was that?
I was excited. Like, they always do like crazy trailers that makes like, yeah, I'll give one episode a shot. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys go. I'll let you guys know.
You'll be our review avatar, and you'll have to let us know how it goes.
You review it, you let us know. I'll review the Dark Rift ports.
Yep.
This is our personalities.
Don't worry, man. I'll try not to give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Somewhat related, that Idol game, Idol Showdown, was just suddenly announced, and here it is. You can play it right now. But other than its general concept, I don't really know. I don't think any of us have had time to actually play it. Guile Winquote did, because of course he did, and said it's actually really good. So
everything I've seen on it now, like, somebody was mentioning it last night, and they're like, "Hey, you should play this Idol Showdown Neptunia JV Star versus Excelsior." I'm like, none of that. I don't know any of those words.
It has rollback netcode.
And it's free to play.
But they said it's rollback, and I'm like, okay. But I saw some people playing it today, and it shockingly looks like relatively polished. It doesn't look super jank. So it's like 2D style. Polished, and it looks like has like a relatively fleshed out systems. If this is like a studio's first effort at doing a fighting game, it's a pretty good effort.
Incredible.
It looks pretty like, wow, this is actually relatively high quality.
So what's interesting is like when I'm reading the article, it's like it's developed by HoloLive fans, and so I'm not sure if a studio made this or if it's like actually developed by HoloLive fans.
It's just a fan group.
So
it's like a fan group?
Is it like Japanese sort of characters?
Whoa.
I'm not sure what the characters are at all.
The group is that made is Besto Games. Hey, so this came out May 5th, and it has 2,000 reviews already, which is an incredible amount, and it's rated overwhelmingly. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Overwhelmingly positive. Yeah. Like, damn. Yeah.
So it definitely is using like real life characters that exist that are most likely in Japan, because I heard him speaking Japanese, and they are essentially like utilizing the fan bases of all these folks to like lift the game up and give it some notoriety, which is smart, especially if it's good, Yeah. And I saw like a super, and it looked crazy, like a character like pulled back and was behind the screen, and she pulled out like a machine gun and absolutely shot the shit out of something. Like, whoa, cinematic 2D supers, okay. So it looks kind of impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty much like so how idols work in Japan is like you're pretty much a very popular like Japanese influencer who can sing, who can dance, Kind of like how me and Matt like Blackpink K-pop, but on a much more smaller scale, where they just call Japanese like people like idols. And
so it isn't VTubers.
It's not.
I thought it was VTubers.
It might be VTubers, but like idol VTubers, like because that's a popular thing now. Where like recently, like at our local in Vancouver, there was like an anime concert, and a VTuber just like called in and was just playing, being DJ and being an idol, and just singing, and everybody's dancing with like their wands and everything. But I think maybe the reason why it is being so popular is because just reading the article, it's like there's remixes of your favorite Hololive original songs while you're playing the game. So that's also could be a factor. If you're a fan of your like a favorite idol that's in the game, then you like their music, there's a remix version of it. So you're probably going to download it and play with that character, right? So that makes sense that it'll become a very positive game.
Yeah, it's just going all in on everything. Not just here's this character. It's like here's this character, their song, their like, everything about them. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool. I like it came out during this weekend. I was like away out of town, so I couldn't even try it. But I seen everybody like that I follow on the FGC channels. They were just playing it, and I'm like, all right, this must be a hot game. Like it has rollback. It's free to play and 8 available characters, and there are going to be 3 more for free release in the future. So it seems like everything about this game might be free. There'll probably be no pay to pay model at all. So it just seems like it's really made for fans and just to make people happy.
Yeah, that's crazy. It doesn't cost anything. Like there's no microtransactions, there's no costume DLC or anything like that.
Like you'd think songs or something would cost like something. I don't know, like $1.
No,
yeah, no, that's cool.
If it's like if it really comes out as like a for fans by fans, it's incredibly cool.
Yeah, they even have kind of like it's like you said, Max, like so polished. It kind of has like little story modes. You can like get like little equips for your character and everything. Like there's a lot of stuff to do in this game. It's not just like one of those free to play games where it's like has barely any content. It has so much content, and the coolest part is when you like win at a round, it actually the win screen turns into a Twitch chat. Where like literally the camera and then the overlay will be a camera, and then the Twitch, and then like on the right side would just be Twitch chat, like just like saying like, "Oh, good job, yay," stuff like that.
So I see.
They're definitely VTubers. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a fake Twitch chat. It's not like your Twitch chat, but it's pretty funny. It even says new viewer here. Who should I main? Like that type of stuff. So they did a lot. Of good job.
Yeah, I see it. That's cool. I watched the trailer, but I just didn't notice what that was, but it's for like every character. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool. Like I definitely want to try it out. I mean, it's free, right? Why not, right? So, and it has rollback. So
we said it 3 times now because it's just something you have to let everyone know.
It's the it's the magic word.
The magic words. Games. Yeah. You know what aren't magic words is anyone saying anything about, maybe getting early practice on Street Fighter 6 months and months ago via any like not Capcom approved means, because Capcom let everyone know officially that
we go
that if you have been, maybe bandying about or like hosting things that maybe used a beta that you shouldn't have had access to, you might not be let into the Capcom Pro Tour or any other majors. Which the thing everyone was saying about this is like, why did it take so long for this announcement to come?
Yeah,
it's tough. Yeah.
The weird part about telling the crackheads off is that
don't do crack, man.
The weird part about the crackhead situation is that they say from this point forward.
Yeah.
So it's like we're a month away from the game's release. You say from this point forward, if we get evidence that you are a crackhead, you're essentially disbarred from our pro tournament. And you would like to think that from this point forward, that's not really necessary, because now people just have like a fully accessible closed offline demo where you can really practice. Yep. And maybe 5 months ago, that might have been really important. Right? Maybe 5 months ago, that if they made this announcement, there could have been some ramifications where it's like, oh yeah, then clearly this person, was training too much. But the weirdest part is they say from like a month before the game, from this point forward, if you provide evidence, then, we're going to get them crackheads out of here.
Pretty much a warning.
But it's like a warn. But if you practice all that time beforehand, you're cool. That's cool.
Yeah, you're cool. Yeah,
you're cool.
It's just like, I think it's more of just them acknowledging that they know that there is a crack, right? But because they never have talked about it before, like until now.
But there was no way they didn't know earlier. Because
they did know. But
they know.
I think it just goes down to like change the commands on like how should we approach this and everything like that. And like everything that Capcom has done after releasing the statement, it has made it easier for people to have played the crack, not play the crack, because one, there is, like you said, the offline demo, even though it's real and Luke. And then they just announced, right? We didn't even, at least we finally didn't miss an announcement, right? An open beta that's happening in a few weeks with
May 19th to the 21st.
Yeah. Right, with the original 8 characters. So maybe, like, why would you play the crack at this point? So it pretty much is kind of like, we still want everybody that has played the crack to participate in our CPT and everything like that. But, if somebody has screenshots of like screen dates of like if you played the crack after we posted this, then you're probably gonna get bodied. But I doubt at this point people are like going to take that risk, right? Especially in the public forum.
Sure. So here's what's interesting about this whole thing. Even if you were a crackhead for the past 6 months and you've been cracking it out in a variety of ways, a straight user, as some would say, how much of an advantage do you think that gives them, Justin?
What's your big one?
Yeah, how big do you think it actually will last?
It's tough. Okay, so let's talk about Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 had a similar issue. They had the crack as well, but the crack was only for like 1 to 2 months.
No. It
wasn't that long.
It was from the summer. It was for a while.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember it was that long.
Like how many months?
It was like, I remember like July or August hearing about there's a cracked version out there in Street Fighter 5.
That does sound familiar.
And the first version of the game that was playable, I think, was like July, something like around those lines. I'm pretty sure it was that version they were playing at WNF and stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm not going to mention any names because obviously I don't want to do that.
But we know.
5,
oh, we know.
We know.
We know.
You have the name.
How long of an advantage did they actually have? Because the situation we're looking at right now with Street Fighter 6 is almost identical to what happened with Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. So in Street Fighter 5, like they were all placing top 8. Right?
Yes.
Everyone was. They were
winning
and winning and everything like that. So it was probably 1 to 2 months that had the advantage until people like figured out like what to do, how to catch up and stuff like that. I feel like Street Fighter 6 is in a similar position where the first 2 months will be a factor where like the results are going to be this, and after 2 months then the results are going to be changed so much.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how it is.
I think we're going to get dominated by crackheads in the first little bit. But I'm
swarmed.
I'm going to call it right now that like we might see some influence in the first very large scale tournament, which is CEO, so that's like July-ish before Evo. Yeah. But I predict it's going to be a lot quicker that people will be able to jump on because the game has been playable in a form that is allowing people to get really fucking good at it really fast, like especially some Japanese players and stuff who are the ones that are complaining about this the most, right? Of like, the crack folks should be barred from tournaments and shit. I feel like it's going to be even less. I feel like it's going to be like 2 weeks. Like we're going to see 2 weeks of some people that have clearly, they definitely know. But I think after that, it'll even out really fast, just because the quality of the online play, the quality of the matchmaking, like what you can do in terms of getting experience in Street Fighter 6, and a variety of different experience, right, is gonna be so much easier than what Street Fighter 5 was at the start. We spent the majority of launch of Street Fighter 5 looking at you can't connect to this person's screens, so it was kind of hard to get experience. So we'll see.
Yeah, I do think like CEO will possibly be affected if they go, like whoever goes and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think that's also another reason why Capcom hasn't announced their CPT schedule, because there's no schedule for like CPT at the moment.
Is there still no schedule? Okay.
There's no schedule. Nobody knows if there's online qualifiers or what tournaments offline will be a CPT event. So even Evo has not even announced anything like that related. So it's very possible that Evo might not even be CBT related because Capcom might think, oh, it's too soon because they're scared of the people that played the crack.
That's an interesting take where if they just like delay their CPT qualifier events a few months and they just go out to like August, maybe after August, September, and then it starts, then that is absolutely enough time where the playing field is even, bro.
Equalized,
It's definitely equalized by that point.
But it just sucks because tournaments like CEO and Evo could possibly lose that opportunity to be a CPT event in the process.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's far enough away from launch that there at least be one patch, if not more, just adjustment patches maybe.
Likely.
They did say in the document that there is going to be like, this is not the final release of the build. There will be changes. That's what it said. So it seems like there will be a patch because obviously some of the crack combos such as Guile, possibly
we don't know. We don't know. We didn't get a chance to mess with that stuff in the build that we played either.
Yeah, they possibly would want to nerf it or remove it because it's like if you're a Guile main and you're playing the crack, you probably have mastered that combo at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, and it takes like 90% of your health as well too. So
it's very
possible. Yeah, it's possible like that could be removed and other stuff can be removed. I already noticed that like from the demo and the closed beta, frame data has already changed. Like some of Ryu's combos actually don't work anymore in the demo now. From the closed beta.
Yeah, but he's still getting like just as much crazy damage. You just do something else, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I tried very briefly to do some shit with Ken when we were at Capcom to play Street Fighter 6, and so his crazy kick loops, his Jinrai loops were still working. You know, his crazy what's it called, dragon kick loops were still working. It didn't feel like they were doing as much of damage, but that just might be, you know, I wasn't preparing optimal situations and shit. So I don't know. A lot of the fun stuff was still there, which is what I'm the most curious about.
Yeah, I'm but other than that, I think like Street Fighter 6 launch will still be very good. People will still get up to speed in terms of like competitiveness, just because, like you said, everything is so much easier when it comes to playing with each other because of netcode's so good. Information is going to be everywhere on Twitter. Like when we were at Capcom,
is going to be wild.
Tech's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like when we were at Capcom HQ, they got in so many influencers and FGC content creators and content creators in general to just come to the Capcom HQ to just record stuff from all over Europe, USA, Japan. So there's so much footage out there that people can just digest, right? And yeah, I think it's a great time.
You guys, I'm sure maybe a little bit tired of talking about it, but on both your channels because you put out a lot of cool videos. But like for just, you know, listeners of TKO, do you guys want to give like your general thoughts? Because you played like the final version or not? You're saying it will change.
You
saw that,
so
there's like little quality of life stuff.
Like there were some graphical glitches and stuff that they were mentioning were in it that like that'll be fixed by launch type stuff. But in terms of like overall like balancing, it really feels like this is like near gold code. Right, this is most likely what is going to be available. It was the full version of the game. It wasn't like, oh, here's just the character select and that's it. Like, no. This was the fully featured ass game that we were playing. So it being essentially content complete is a high likelihood, and things changing that bit is going to be pretty minor, like mostly just bugs and graphical issues.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, and I think the best part about it is that I know a lot of people had concerns because when Capcom fighters talked about like, oh yeah, like the crack and like if you're caught by it, and then literally a few days later, every content creator that got invited to Capcom posted like new Street Fighter 6 videos, and then that caused a new storm of like, you know, talking about it's not fair and blah 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 blah. We only had like an hour, you know, to kind of just do everything. Yeah, it was 1 hour of just like fighting ground.
Like,
and 2 hours of World Tour mode.
Like that's a bit more than you would get if you just constantly was at a kiosk at a con.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like a PAX or an E3.
Pretty much.
Like that's what we did for KI back in 2013. We just went back to KI every single time. And then like afterwards you spent like basically 2-3 hours playing it all weekend or whatever. But you know, obviously for match stuff, and there's a lot of footage out there. I haven't personally seen too much of a World Tour mode, it just like, because it also gets drowned out by the demo footage of World Tour, and I finally got to play that after we recorded last week's session. But you guys got to play 2 hours of that, like from the start?
It was like 2 more chapters.
2 more chapters, okay. And where did that actually? Because Justin put out a video today. It says you can date Chun-Li, which I think was clickbait. I don't know, but can you actually date Chun-Li?
I don't know if I could date Chun-Li, but she was flirting with me on the phone. She was texting me. She sent me emojis. Okay, if a girl sends you emojis, there's something going on. Okay, that's all I know.
So you can essentially build relationships with certain characters in the game by giving them gifts and stuff. You'll fight these other characters and do side quests and fight like large scale characters that have big health bars where you beat them and they'll give you like a special magazine, and that's like a gift for Luke. So you have to go back to Luke and he'll give you a super. This happens with Chun-Li where you get Air Kikosho, her Air super, by having an item from something you do earlier, and then you gift it to her and she starts like chatting you up and she's like, give me your phone number.
Exactly.
So that happens, right? That's you could totally simp and or stand the hell out of certain characters if you want.
Sorry to say, but that really reminds me of like Dead or Alive extreme games where you have to give each Dead or Alive girl like a special present.
Oh yeah,
and they're like you level up their. That again, Street Fighter just ripping off Dead or Alive every chance it gets.
Every chance,
crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. I'm trying to date Chun-Li at the end of my world tour.
Mm-hmm. Right. Justin, what is your character like in that footage, or like when you play the final game? What is your character like you, or is it a character you like? Like, what did you create? I've seen Max's like horrible things I don't want to talk about.
It was a what like Max like to call a freak.
Oh, okay, it's a freak. All right.
Yeah, a freak. Okay. But I think for World Tour mode, like when I play it for reals, when the game officially comes out, we know Rufus is not coming back. But it might be
time
to
make Rufus.
To make Rufus. That's the only way.
So you're making another freak,
back.
Then you're making another freak.
No, Rufus not a freak. He's a well-established USA citizen who likes to do kung fu martial arts.
All right, fair enough. I made a Hagar in my demo. I was just like, kind of the same thing. He's not in the game. I don't think he is. Maybe he is. I don't know. So
can you make Hagar like his skin completely gray, so he's just a statue walking? So it's like the statue just.
The memory of the late Mike Hagar.
Yeah, right.
There was one more thing I think Max wanted to bring up is just the whole control issues with modern controls, and Japan's not super down with it.
It's funny how there's all this like. I don't even think this is related to tournament drama because we have like millions of dollars of prize pools now, but. This is boiling down to the fact that the more people have had their time with the game, with Street Fighter 6, like unadulterated time, like you just have whatever, because now the demo is just Luke and Ryu and there's no limitations. People are playing a lot with modern controls, and it seems to be pretty good. Especially on some characters, it seems to be extremely good. I don't know to what degree, but now there seems to be like a cause from concern from certain ends that like, no, classic controls should be how like the game is played. And in moderation in certain modes, like, maybe modern controls, but I really don't know to what extreme this is of what people have found. I don't know what modern controls, because I just barely have played with it. I don't know what it takes away from classic controls technically, but there seems to be some buzz now that like there seems to be a concern of like maybe banning modern controls at some point.
So I have a theory about this. I played modern controls during the beta on joystick, and it was fantastic. Like I was able to do everything that I can do on modern controls like I would do on classic controls. But my modern controls were, when it comes to neutral, was much smoother because you can't see my buffers.
Yeah.
So if I'm throwing fireball,
there's no down,
right? You don't see me jank, right? It's just stuff like that because it's just like a smash control. It's like a button. You just press like special move button, fireball comes out. So I think from a high level perspective, if you're going to be playing on like a leverless controller, which is a very popular choice for Street Fighter games because of the way the speed works, it's like meant for it for Street Fighter 5, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be meant for it for Street Fighter 6 as well too. It might be just much more stronger if you do modern controls with a leverless controller, and the fact that Japan, majority of the pro players have switched to leverless controllers. So it's possible that they're thinking like, oh, this is too good. on leverless controllers.
Yeah, and I was hearing from some people there is damage mitigation in modern controls. Apparently, all special moves do 20% less damage if you do the modded control version. However, in modern controls, you can still input the manual motion, and it will work, and it will reapply the damage, so you get the regular damage that you normally would. So I don't know, like I don't know how much this is going to dominate the game in certain ways. I just have no interest in playing modern mode because I'm an old man, and I still been playing with an arcade stick just because I like arcade sticks and shit. Like, my intention isn't to be the very best, like no one ever was. I'm not going to catch them. It's not going to be my real test. I'm just going to play the game because it's my cause.
Wow.
I feel good about that.
Kept going.
That was good. But yeah, but I think also about modern controls, just thinking about it, level 3 is double core circle forward kick, double core circle forward punch. Modern controls for level 3 is you tap down, you press special move and heavy attack at the same time.
Oh god, so like anti-air level 3s,
level 3, reaction to any
reaction to fireball,
3, normals, like it'll literally, like, you don't even see no motion. It's just like you just press it, like one input, level 3 just comes out. That's 50% of your life automatically.
And that means like hit confirming and stuff, like off of low forwards and stuff, will be significantly easier because you don't have the double motion.
Yep. Like if you were Ryu, you did crouching medium kick Tatsu, you just press down medium button and then you press back and special.
Oh man.
It. Like, okay, could this become a thing where every tournament has to decide like modern controls allowed, modern controls, like, do you think it will get that bad?
So I here's what I was selling, because we were talking about it with the chat last night. I think this is going to be, Capcom's going to be very aware of this, right? Especially if Japanese players start complaining about it, like because the game is made over there, and they'll definitely hear from that side of the scene. If it starts to become an issue where it's like, oh, this is too good, it's like removing parts of the game that normally are, you have to like work for this, so then suddenly you don't. If it starts dominating too much of the game, where a lot of high ranked play in the game online is also dominated by modern controls, if it's like over 60% or like a huge number of people are using modern controls now, they're going to adjust it. Like the easiest thing to do isn't to just ban modern controls through and through, but to make adjustments. And even though this is a game with like a $2 million prize pool, it still is a modern day fighting game, video game, where characters are going to get changed around and system mechanics will also get changed around. And modern controls is just a system mechanic, right? Yeah. So it working the way it does will most likely go through some refinements where it's just like, yeah, this is removing a part of the game that is sort of valuable in Street Fighter, and we want that value to return. So you have to do that shit manually now. Sorry. That probably will happen. That probably is going to be the case.
Yeah, I just remember that like characters, like I played Guile. I was at Metro Academy for the Capcom show, and Guile in modern control is actually pretty bad, just because
you still have to charge, right?
He has to charge. He just doesn't have to add the forward or the up direction. But the one thing that really stood out why he's bad is that when you have your modern controls, you have 3 attack buttons. Just a light button, medium button, heavy button. Meaning those buttons are shared with like light punches and light kicks, medium punch, medium kick, so forth and so forth. So Guile, however, because there's so many command normals in the game, in modern controls, he actually doesn't have a crouching heavy punch.
Ooh,
right. Okay. So because of that, he's an example where like he might not work in modern controls while other characters will. So it's one of those things where it's like if you're like a Ryu and Guile main, you could play Ryu in modern mode, but you'll probably have to play Guile in classic mode. So there's definitely a huge imbalance for characters, from what I played for modern controls, but maybe they might have changed that for like the final version and when it comes out. Because there could be characters that people are wondering. They're like, so many people ask me, hey, have you tried modern mode Zangief yet? Does he have a 1-button SPD and blah, 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 blah? We don't know. We didn't have enough time to test that stuff out. So it's something that we'll have to wait until launch. And then that's probably when, like you said, adjustments might be made.
If you were to tell me back in like 2002, 2003, that Capcom versus SNK 2's Easy Operation mode on the GameCube version would dominate the conversation about a future Street Fighter game, I would have told you, you're nuts, get out of my face. But here we are, I guess.
Yeah, so is the efforts of every single fighting game from all days of yore turning into something that is going to be easier and more accessible to play. And that's just the way they've always worked, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just put all the moves on the right stick.
That's better.
Sense.
On the C stick.
On the C stick, yeah. Bring the C stick back.